What is up, everybody? I hope you guys are having a great start to your week. How are we doing today? Everybody should be doing good. Had a beautiful, beautiful start to the week. Sorry about that. Wi-Fi out in my area. That is unfortunate. What's up, John, Ceci, Ray? How are we doing? All right. We'll go ahead and get right into it here. First thing I want to go over is the trades we took today. Now, this first trade I did not signal just because it was a bit higher risk, and I honestly didn't want to start off our week with a super high risk play. But meta, I took this red to green here. I brought it up on mic. For those of you guys that are at the lessons, actually, I know a lot of people did catch it, and the correlation between the people that caught this trade and the people that are at the lessons was a little too high to be a coincidence. So I would highly suggest, if you guys are not coming to the lessons, make sure you do. But anyways, that is where you're going to learn to fend for yourself on stuff like this, where it is a little bit too high risk for a signal, but if it looks good to you, you can still take advantage of it. I took it on this red to green here on the 931 candle, ended up getting out on the 666.69 break on the same candle here. That was a, 31, you see, 31.14% trade to start off the day. And then we followed this up with a beautiful play here on NVIDIA as well, which this thing actually ended up ripping afterwards. But ended up signaling NVIDIA here at 9:35. So this candle right here, once again on the flip from red to green, took this into the 187.47 resistance, which we were watching pre-market, and then ended up selling this on the next candle. The signal was actually sent at 9:35, but it was like the last couple seconds of the 9:35 candle. But I ended up getting out on this on the 9:36 candle. My contracts got filled just below the 189 break on this, and that was a 41.55% trade. So a little 30% trade and a 40% trade to start off the week. Absolutely beautiful way to start the week. We were done 10 minutes into the day, so can't ask for much more than that. But as far as the setups go, oh, by the way, got to do a quick plug. Click the first link in the description if you guys want to trade with me and the team every single day. I would definitely say that it's worth it to at least try it out. Now, for tonight's charting session, obviously, we're going to be going through my watch list from A to Z here, seeing what I'm liking for tomorrow and possibly the rest of the week, just depending on when we see these trades actually set up. And then also, after we get done with that, we'll be doing a Q&A session here for the remainder of the stream. Let's see. If you were to trade in Q, what would be your approach? Levon, my approach to everything is mainly based on price action. So obviously, we're looking for certain setups when it comes to the stocks. Now, in Q, I would not trade the same way that I trade the majority of these. I would not be looking for breakout trades. I would be looking for mainly bounces and rejections. But my approach would be mainly price action based. I don't know if that helps. I don't know if that's an answer that you were looking for or not. But if I were trading in Q or ES, either one of them, my approach would be mainly looking for bounces and rejections and basing that majority off of price action, which price action is going to be my number one tool regardless of what I'm trading. Obviously, NQ and ES move a little bit different than the stocks that we trade, which is why I would be looking for a bit of a different approach setup wise, but still the same pieces of the puzzle there. I'm looking for some type of clear area where we are looking to turn around and shift that momentum, and I'm also looking at price action. What about gold? Same thing, Levon. Same thing. Literally any instrument would be the same thing. I wouldn't be looking for breakouts on the majority of those though. I guess JPN I'm not familiar with. I don't really know how that moves. Same thing with gold. I'm not too familiar with how gold moves, but I'm just going to go with the assumption that it moves more closely to ES and NQ than it does the stocks that we look at for breakouts. But yeah, mainly I would be looking for bounce and rejection setups. Now, since I don't really trade those things, I can't give you an exact setup that I would be looking for or an exact like formation that I would be looking for, but mainly price action based. Gold moves different. Yeah. Yeah, I actually have not looked at gold much at all. So I'm not really going to be able to give you the best answer on that. But anyways, here we'll go ahead and start off. Actually, we'll go ahead and look at the earnings for this week first. I'll just go ahead and pull these up here. We can take a look at them together. So, all right, you guys should be able to see this. Yeah, here we go. All right, so tomorrow after market closes, we have Hood earnings and pre-market. We don't have anything that I'm looking at. A couple of these are on the watch list, like DDOG and KO. I've got them on the watch list, but these are just not stocks that I pay attention to too frequently. So really the main things that I'm looking at earnings wise this week is Hood after market closes tomorrow and Coinbase after market closes on Thursday. Otherwise, yeah, I don't think there's anything else here that I really have for earnings. And then news this week is actually pretty empty. I don't really think we have anything major at all this week. The majority of our news this week is pre-market. So let's see here. So tomorrow we do have business inventories at 10, but other than that, everything is pre-market. Wednesday, petroleum status report at 10:30, which is not something I'm too concerned with. Yeah, Thursday it's all pre-market. We have natural gas report at 10:30, and then we have CPI Friday pre-market. So the majority of the news we've got this week is pre-market. So that should hopefully give us a clean week. Let's see here. I already did see a couple things that I like for tomorrow. AVGO is kind of far away right now. But if we pick up some strength after hours and pre-market, the high of day from today does not look bad. Let's see here. Got another resistance here on the 4 hour at 354.51. We've got a resistance that is very closely lining up with today's high of day, so that's something I'm interested in for sure. All right, Amazon, AMD, these are getting unmarked for me. AVGO is marked. We will come back to that shortly. BA part is all sorts of thrown off, but let's see here. 247.40. I believe we already broke that, right? Yeah. Yeah, that's already been broken. Okay. Cool. Moving on. Let's see. This might end up being a pretty short watch list, but I actually have been liking our shorter watch lists. I'd rather have a shorter watch list with higher quality setups than have 10 setups that I need to split equal focus between. The DDOG has earnings. Disney, I'm all good. Google, we are just straight chopping around right now. So I'm all good on that. Well, the coin I need to unmark because of earnings. Circle, we have nothing. All right, so back here. Hood has earnings, so I'm passing on that for now. INTC. Honestly, this 51.72 level, if we would have gotten a better breakout on that level, well, actually, if we didn't break that level after hours, I would have probably been interested on INTC for the remainder of this move up. But right now, INTC tried to break out after hours, failed, and now we're kind of just in a sideways area for now. So I'm probably going to pass on this as well. KO has earnings. Meta, we ended up breaking a pretty major level here on the 1 hour at 681.50 today. But it looks like we set up a flat top here at high of day. Kind of. Not a perfect one, but 683.31. This looks really good on Meta. I've got pretty easy room on this up to, what is this? Is this the 4th? What day was the 4th? Last Wednesday. So the high from last Wednesday, I've got pretty easy room up to that at 688.90, which a $5 move on Meta, that actually is relatively doable. But also, I would not even need a $5 move on Meta for me to consider this a clean play. I would really only need a break above 685 for me to be super happy with this. So does not look like we have anything between here and there. So let me just double check that real quick. 5-minute trend, we don't have anything. 15-minute gives us a ton of room. 30-minute, we've got nothing. 1 hour, we have nothing. 4 hour, we have 686.66. Okay. So this trend may actually end up rejecting here. We'll just have to see. But even then, still gives us our easy room to 685 break. So that's good. That's solid. I actually really like this. This looks good. We have really no trends interfering between here and 685, which is all we really need. What did we get on Meta this morning? It was what? 683. So we got a $3 move on Meta this morning, and it was 30-something%. So that's not too bad at all. Now the contracts we'll be playing are going to be 2 days out, or 1 day. Yeah. Well, really 1 day out, rather than 0 DTE. But either way, that's going to be a plenty big enough move for me to be happy with that trade. Microsoft, I am all good for now. MSTR, we rejected right before the 140 break today. I'm actually really not even concerned with anything going on in this area right now. So the 140 break actually might be worthwhile to look at. 139.58 was the high of day from today. I would look for the 140 break, and then above that, we've got room to, yikes, 15-minute trend lines up right at 140.31. That will be higher by the time we open tomorrow, though. Don't love the 30-minute. So the 15 and the 30-minute trends I'm not a fan of. But the setup itself actually looks like it's got some potential here. So might be worth it to look at. Might be worth it to look at. 139.58 into the 140 break. Above that, like I said, we do have those two trends that we need to be aware of. But above that, we really do have pretty easy room up to at least 142 here. So yeah, that's worthwhile. That is a worthwhile watch for sure. MU, I still like this same flat bottom here at 363.80. I still like that. We are what? $15 away. $15 away right now, but once we do finally get down there, I'm definitely interested. Nvidia once again ended up rejecting this same zone that I've had for months now, or it feels like months. Might only be 1 month, but either way, I don't think I really have anything here on Nvidia. Yeah, I mean, we just absolutely went on a tear this morning. So I guess if they do decide to pick that momentum back up, I don't even have anything between here and the high from today. So Nvidia is probably going to be off for me. I would very slightly consider keeping it as a side watch just to see if we can catch a momentum play on that. But otherwise, not a huge fan. All right. So, see, next up we've got Oracle, which once again does not look too bad at 160. High of day from today is just below that at 159.75. See what the trends are looking like. Got a ton of room on the 15, nothing on the 30, ton of room on the 1 hour, and basically $2.50 on the 4 hour. Yeah, we've got plenty of room on this. Next major resistance too is actually lining up right around 162, or actually right at 162. Okay. Yeah, I like that. Oracle looks good. I actually have a pretty decent watch list so far. PLTR, kind of the same setup as Oracle and MSTR. So I think I'm probably just going to skip on PLTR. Realistically, if I was going to play any of these, if they are all pretty much the same and they are all at the same spot, same distance away, I'm probably going to stick with MSTR. So I don't really feel the need to add in another setup there that is identical to these other ones that I have a higher likelihood of actually playing. And last thing here, I know I skipped over a bunch of stuff down here, but they never have volume. The last thing here is Tesla. And Tesla, I actually don't really have anything right now. It looks like downside is more likely at this moment in time. That might be changed pre-market, but 416 to the downside doesn't look like a horrible play. That's the after hours low for now. And if we set something up there pre-market, I would definitely be interested for a quick scalp to the downside. Does not look bad at all. Probably would just target a move down to 415.60, then 415 for my final target on that. Yeah. Otherwise, though, I don't really have anything major here on Tesla. So Tesla gets kind of a free pass just by default, at least making it to the side watch. So, all right, let's go ahead and get these written down then. All right, what was our first thing here? AVGO. So AVGO. Not what I wanted. All right, AVGO. Looking at the 352.59 resistance on the 1 hour for a breakout. Targeting a move up to the 354 break. Then the next major resistance at 354.51 for my final target. Beautiful. We didn't have any trends here though, did we? I don't think we did. No, we did not. This one's probably going to end up going down to the side watch just because of how far away it is. I mean, we're about $10 away. So most likely is going to end up moving down to the side watch. Meta looking at the flat top at the 683.31 high of day for a continuation of this upside momentum. targeting a move to the 685 break for a conservative target. Above this, we have room up to, we had some trends here, 686, 66. That's the next thing, I believe. Yeah. Above this, we have room up to the 4-hour uptrend at 686.66, where we could end up seeing a rejection. If we do see momentum above this level, we've got room up to the next resistance at 688.90. All right, MSTR. Looking at the 139.58 high of day for a breakout, playing this into the 140 break. Above this, I will be targeting momentum see. Ooh. Do we have any trends on this? I know we were looking at 142 for a final target area. Okay, yeah. 15-minute and 30-minute had trends. Okay. Okay, yeah. So above this, I will be targeting momentum into the 142 area. We do have a 15-minute and 30-minute uptrend that we need to be aware of, but by the morning, we should have more room on those trends. All right, MU, I am just going to copy and paste from the trade ideas from today because nothing has changed. MU, I'm looking at this 363.80 flat bottom for a break to the downside, targeting a move to the 360 break. Below this, we have room to the 1-hour downtrend, which is now actually all the way down at 342.76. So below this, we actually have room first to the next support at 347.69. Cool. Oracle, very similar to MSTR here. So Oracle, looking at the inverse H into the high of day break at 159.75. Playing this through the 160 break. Above this, I have room up to the next resistance on the 1-hour/4-hour at 162 for my final target. Beautiful. And then last but not least here, Tesla. Tesla. Had a fairly aggressive sell-off at the end of day. Looking at the 416 after hours low for a break to the downside. Targeting a move my lord. Targeting a move down to the 415 break. Actually, down to 415.60. Then the 415 break for my final target. All right, and then we'll go ahead and just make a side watch section here because that AVGO is gonna have to go in there for now, and so is MU. All these other ones are actually relatively close. In Meta, we are looking at upside. MSTR, we're looking at upside. Oracle, upside. Tesla, downside. AVGO, upside. And MU, downside. Beautiful. All right, that is the watch list that I've got for tomorrow and possibly the rest of the week, depending on when these play out. Now, we do have about 30 minutes left here in the stream, so if you guys have questions for me, feel free to ask away, and I will sit here and answer your questions for as long as you have them. But I am going to get my face out of the way here real quick and make this full screen so you guys that are not in the floor can screenshot this and save it. For those of you that are in the floor, I will be sending it right now. And for those of you that want to join the floor, click the first link in the description. All right. I will be here. So get your questions ready. Take your screenshots. You're going to get a little bit of time here without my face on screen. All right, we're back. You had plenty of time for your screenshots there. So we've got about 30 minutes left, 25 minutes left. How to set stop loss in your trades. So see, sorry. So my stop losses are pretty much always based off of the chart. Either that or they're based off of my targets. If I have somewhere on the chart that I can use as a stop loss level, that will be where my stop loss is at. If I don't have anything that I can base off of the chart, then I am basing my stop loss off of a risk to reward standpoint on that trade. So I will be looking at my target, my most realistic target, and saying, okay, if this is my bare minimum target, what is my maximum stop loss allowed to be in order to have a bare minimum of a one-to-one trade or a one-to-one risk to reward on that trade. So We've gone over this quite a few times in the live streams, I feel like, but do you have any more like specific questions about the stop loss itself, Sissy? Or is it just the risk to reward part of it? Because I know we did a whole drawing in one of the last couple of live streams we did on here, where I went through and drew out like the entire example of what I was looking for in a stop loss. And I would urge you to go watch that back. Sometimes Wick is coming. I am scared. Okay. I understand what you're saying, but also that doesn't really change anything. That doesn't really change anything. If your stop loss is hit, your stop loss is hit. If we end up wicking, it is what it is. Take the re-entry when we have a better opportunity for a re-entry. And since the trades that you're taking should be a bare minimum of 1-to-1, then all you really need is one trade to play out and you're break even or you're green. So like if we stop out on a bare minimum 1-to-1 risk to reward trade, we should be at the very least break even if we hit the absolute bare minimum target on the re-entry of that trade, right? And if we hit anything more than that, we're going to be green. So it doesn't really matter if you're scared. I mean, that's how you become a statistic in the market, is literally exactly that, trading off of your emotions. Whether those emotions are fear or greed or whatever emotion it is you're feeling, that is how you become a statistic. That is how you become a losing trader. Okay? So you got to cut the emotion part out of it. I'm not saying you're not allowed to have emotions. I'm just saying like you need to recognize what they are and you need to figure out how to control them, or at least just understand, okay, I am feeling this way, but it does not matter that I feel this way because this is what I need to do. All right, that's how you become a losing trader. I'm sure that everybody in here that has either been profitable, is still unprofitable, I'm sure that everybody can vouch for the fact that your emotions, that's literally the thing that destroys you in your trading. So it's not that you have to be emotion free. You just have to recognize them and you have to understand that it doesn't really matter. Your emotions don't really matter. You still have to stick to your plan. Absolutely. Sometimes I have a green. Sometimes I have green. I have re-enter for other trade. Big loss. How to control. I believe you're saying that sometimes you are nicely green and then you'll re-enter and take another trade and then end up red. Is that what you're saying? You'll be green and then you'll take another trade and you'll end up red on the day? Yeah, so I mean, at that point, that is just bad risk management, to be honest. That's just bad risk management. If you are green to start off your day, first of all, if you're nicely green, why are you even taking any more trades? Be honest. Like, you guys know today, the only reason that I didn't walk away before I walked away is because I did not signal meta. And NVIDIA looked clean. If NVIDIA didn't look good, I wouldn't have taken it because I was already super, super nicely green on meta. So, I mean, even then, if I would have hit my stop loss on NVIDIA, I would have still been nicely green for the day. So, you guys know, I mean, if we catch a one and done right off market open, I'm done. I'm walking every single time. Like the days where we actually get tradable price action that isn't just some BS that we have to claw our way through, I'm done. I'm done. I don't care if it's one trade. I don't care if there's more opportunities, to be honest with you. I'm just done. I take my trade and I'm done. So there's not really any need to sit around and try and take more trades, especially if you're not willing to risk those profits, right? If you are the type of person where you take a green trade and you take another trade, but if that other trade doesn't play out, you're upset that you gave back profits, that just means you are not the type of person that needs to be sitting around taking more trades. And like I say that on mic sometimes too. Hey guys, if you're going to be upset that you lose money on this if we stop out, don't take the trade. Right? If you're going to be upset about losing money on a trade that you took the risk on, don't take the trade. Don't take the risk. If you can't take the risk and you can't handle the risk, then walk away, be done. Yeah, Ray, that was something I had a problem with back in the day as well. I definitely have been there. Because you feel like you shouldn't be done with work yet. Like it's a couple minutes into market open, you feel like you should not be done with work yet. But as soon as you start looking at it from the perspective of, if you went to any other job, if you have a normal job, I would assume that a lot of you guys do have a normal job. I had a normal job too. I had plenty of normal jobs. But if I could walk into my normal job, clock in, get my work done, and then leave and still get paid the same as soon as my work was done, regardless of the fact that I wasn't there all day long, I'm absolutely doing that. Like, your work is done. If you've taken one clean trade and you have followed your plan, you've executed a solid trade. It doesn't matter how much money you make on it. If you have executed a solid trade, you have done your job. You can clock out and leave. Nobody's holding you here. Nobody thinks that because you're sitting at the charts for 5 minutes versus 5 hours that you're doing less. The amount of time that you're spending at the charts and the amount of trades that you're taking, that is not a direct result on how well you're going to do. Okay? So the sooner you start thinking at it from the perspective of, if I was at a normal job and I could clock in, get all my work done in 5 minutes, leave and still get paid the same, who's not doing that? Like Ray, I don't know what you did for work or if you do still work, but what do I think about coin? I have no thoughts on coin yet. We have earnings on Thursday, Ray. No problems to see. Yeah, I was just saying, like, I don't know what you did for work before, Ray, but like for my example, I worked at UPS. That was my last job before I went full time in trading. So if I had like the Flash's superpowers where I could just move at 100x speed and get everything done in 10 minutes and I would still get paid the same, I'm working for 10 minutes a day. I don't care. Like I'm getting my work done and leaving, you know? I'm sure it was the same with that. Like if you could finish all your tasks in the shortest amount of time possible and still get paid the same, and nobody's going to tell you you're in trouble because you got done too quickly, you're absolutely doing that. So there's really no need to do that. There's no need to sit around and take more trades if you've already had a really, really nice trade to start your day. Like if NVIDIA was not setting up when it was setting up, and it took another hour to get there, there's no way I would have been waiting around for that. It was there, you know. I waited 2 minutes, I was still at the charts. I waited 2 minutes and it was there. Versus, you know, I'm not sitting around waiting for it. I just happened to still be at the charts and the trade was there. Absolutely, Kelly. Motions tell me, damn, that was too easy. You can do that again. But yeah, and that's another part of it too, Ray. That's definitely true, but that really just that comes from greed. Whether you think you're being greedy or not, that thing that you're feeling comes from greed. Because it's like, oh, I just made money that easy. Let me make more money. Like, of course, let me make more. But I always try and go back to the thinking of no matter how much you make today, you're not going to be done. So why take on extra risk when you can just wrap up a nice, clean, solid day and wait for tomorrow when you have even better opportunities? Yeah, John. Honestly, I would recommend, I mean, actually, I would recommend just being controlled enough to not be taking trades. Like, I would recommend just having enough self discipline that you are not just taking trades. But if you feel like you cannot not take a trade and you end up taking a bunch of trades, I would recommend just switching over to like your paper trading account on TOS. Just log out, flip the switch over to paper, and then if you feel like you absolutely have to execute, then you can with no risk. Over traded the account to the minimum ever again. Yeah. Yeah, Kelly. I would imagine that that's happened to pretty much everybody here. I know this is off topic. Did anybody watch the Super Bowl last night? It was on, and I was not paying a bit of attention to it. I don't even know who won. Boring. Yeah. Boring until the fourth quarter. I don't even think I don't think my brain was present for the fourth quarter. Seahawks won. Oh. Yeah, I did not know that until right now. Yo, that is so out of pocket. Um, so see, I don't have any opinions against it necessarily. I don't have any opinions against it. I think that it's a good opportunity for people that are good traders, but you're not going to be able to pass it unless you are a good trader. So like the only thing that I would have against it, the only time when I would say, "Hey, don't mess with that," is like if somebody's brand new. If somebody's brand new, they're not passing it. They're not passing it. If they do, they're not getting payouts. Like that's if you're brand new, you are not going to be able to keep those accounts. And that is how they make their money because the barrier for entry is super low. And typically, if people are in the markets for a long time and they have a lot of experience, I'm saying, like, pretend there's no Discord, pretend there's no education, whatever, and you are learning on your own. Typically, by the time that you have learned to actually be a good trader, you have enough capital to trade, right? So typically the people that are signing up for those and the people that they're making their money off of are people that are brand new and they have absolutely no idea what they're doing because they think they're going to be able to make a bajillion dollars overnight. And that's not how it works, obviously, but it's very attractive to those people because it's super cheap. Super, super low barrier to entry. You don't have to know what you're doing at all. And you can sign up, make an account, and pay for it in probably 5 minutes or less. So I would say for the people that are good traders, I think it's a great opportunity. But you're not going to be able to pass it and get through it if you are not already a good trader. You watch the HBO show Industry? No, I don't. I've heard of it, but I have never seen it. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really watch many TV shows or movies or anything up until like 2 years ago. And like the only TV shows that I've really watched in the past like 2 years, like all the Dexter series, Big Bang, and I'm watching Hawaii Five-O again right now. That was like my favorite show ever when I was a kid, and it's on Amazon. So that's the show that I'm like binge watching right now. But no, I've never watched Industry. I'll check it out though. Give you. Oh, Tony, you're not asking about the show. What am I? Yeah, I don't know that that method would work for me. It is, Ray. It is. Don't knock it till you try it. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. You guys go crazy. Do your thing. If it works, good for you. Yo, that would be the worst time to hit a stop loss. John said I'm out. All right, guys. Do we have any more trading questions or just questions in general, I guess, before we wrap this up? We've got about 5 minutes left here. That is multitasking. You are correct. Do you get so much anxiety during a trade? I don't, Natalie. I do not. Um, Unfortunately, I think trading has kind of turned me into a little bit of a robot. Um, to go watch some of my live trades and tell me if it looks like I'm anxious or not, because I don't believe that I do. Don't believe that I do. I used to though. I used to though. I used to have to take off my like Apple Watch in the mornings because um it would give me like alerts for high heart rate. So like I would already be stressing out in a trade, and then I'd have something buzzing on my wrist telling me that my heart rate's high, which doesn't help. So I used to, but no, not anymore. I feel like I'm like the old guy sitting in the corner of the bar with like just nom flashbacks. Just doesn't feel anything anymore. Presence really helps me. I appreciate that, Ray. Industry shows that actually. Yeah. Interesting. To be honest, though, I don't even know that I can think back to a time where overall I was not a relatively calm person. I feel like I've always been the kind of person that looks at things very um, objectively. Is that the right word? Like, if you can't fix it, or if you can't change it, or you can't control it, then what are you worrying about? That's kind of my thing. Like, if I can't change it and I can't control how it's moving, what am I to be stressed about? I have my plan. That's what I need to follow. So up until my plans hit, there's nothing for me to be worried about. It's either enter, make money, enter, stop loss. That's it. IV is implied volatility, Sisi. Yeah, I honestly, I think that's the mindset that just keeps me calm in general. But I feel like I've kind of always had a little bit of that. Trading definitely brought it out more, but I feel like I've always had a little bit of that where it's just like, all right, like I see people worrying about things and getting all worked up about stuff that they literally have no control over, and it's like, what are you wasting your brain power over right now? Like, you're literally wasting your own energy over something that you literally cannot do a single thing about. So just chill and wait for it to either work itself out, or, you know, for a time where you actually can control it. Yeah, Ray, you're not wrong. You are not wrong. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'll talk to you first thing in the morning for pre-market review. Thank you guys all for sticking around. I hope you all have a great rest of your night. Peace, everybody.